Hi folks, welcome to your mwis Friday Planner in association with Ellis Brigham. We're looking at a chilly start to this weekend, but milder air is coming back in with time from the southwest, and a generally unsettled trend takes us into the week ahead with a deep area of low pressure moving in from the Atlantic. The threat then of some prolonged heavy falls of rain and gales or severe gales on the mountains at times, so not looking particularly grand in the middle of the week. Some chillier air comes back around again from the northwest later on in the week. We'll have a frosty start to Saturday morning across many valleys in the northern half of Britain. Highland glens dipping a degree or so below freezing, particularly around the Cairngorms. A bit less cold around the Peak District and across Wales, with a bit more in the way of cloud cover and some areas of fog. Now, many higher mountains will also start below freezing point on Saturday morning. A few lower slopes could just be a degree or so above freezing, quite a complicated temperature profile across the lower hills. But higher tops starting at or below freezing point, and it will stay close to freezing across much of the northern and eastern parts of the highlands well onwards through the daytime, gradually rising in the afternoon above freezing point, and then milder air will continue to push in from the southwest, so temperatures will even rise a degree or so further as we head onwards into the evening and overnight into Sunday. Then we're in mild air for a few days, so we'll just skip the story on very quickly through into the middle of the week as we're all above freezing by a good few degrees, just to reach the later part of the week, because by around Thursday some chillier air is expected to come back down from the north, and it may even drop that freezing level a bit lower than what we've seen just at the moment, and it may well be down to around 800 metres or so in the highlands, so showers that fall could well fall as snow down to around 600 or 700 metres at times in that situation, so a chilly end to the week is on the cards. Now, this sequence of charts shows you the scope for cloud and rain, and beginning with the early hours of Saturday where we've got the darker colours, it indicates clear skies, and that's the recipe for the frost then first thing in the morning. Now, cloud will tend to build from the west and the southwest as we go onwards into Saturday daytime, the best of the sunshine hanging on across the eastern side of the Highlands, maybe the eastern side of the Pennines as well. Rather murky conditions getting in across southwest Scotland and across the Lake District, maybe the far west of Wales too, with low cloud drifting into the hills here. Some drizzly damp conditions running into the western lakes, I suspect, at times through the day. Not particularly heavy rain, but just nuisance value, and it could be rather murky with the fells covered in fog, particularly in the west. Better breaks toward the east. Sunshine turning a bit hazier across the highlands, cloud gradually filling in from the west, and as we head onwards into the afternoon and evening, some patchy rain and drizzle turning up in western Scotland by the evening time, that becoming heavier across the West Highlands and rain becoming more extensive after sunset and into the night. That rain then overnight into Sunday, pretty widespread, some heavy falls for a time, particularly across western hills, and the legacy of a real tangle of fronts will be around into Sunday daytime as well. Some fairly persistent rain and low cloud across the Lake District, across West Wales probably as well, southwest Scotland, and drizzly damp conditions and some steadier rain also possible across the West Highlands through Sunday. The eastern side of the Highlands faring better for some drier and brighter conditions. That rain across northern England and Wales maybe just breaking up a touch from the north as we go onwards through Sunday afternoon, but any sunshine very limited, I would suspect. So you'll want to see how that looks on the synoptic charts, and this is the situation for Saturday briefly. We've got high pressure just to the southeast of us, that gradual transition back to a south-southwesterly airflow. The wind speed's generally light, but will tend to strengthen around western coastal hills as the day goes on. Those temperatures then just gradually rising. There's the tangle of fronts for Sunday, and a fairly weak zone of low pressure, but enough moisture to produce a rather poor day on the hills where that front is slow moving. The temperatures then for Sunday are relatively mild, strongest of the winds focused across England and Wales. Now onwards into the new week, and weather systems starting to swing in from the Atlantic with a bit more strength, so the risk of heavier rain setting in more widely. The timing of this frontal system coming in from the southwest on Monday open to some question at this stage, but likely to deteriorate, and some heavier rain and stronger winds moving in. So looks a rather poor day for many. The far north of Scotland may escape somewhat drier and brighter. Otherwise, it's a windy day, the risk of upland gales and heavy rain setting in. Now, a rippling frontal system is likely to be in play as we head onwards into Tuesday. Now, the exact detail uncertain, but these systems do just tend to run in on a conveyor belt and has the potential to bring some heavy falls of rain to Wales, up to the Lake District and possibly southwest Scotland. That seems to be the focus at this stage for the most prolonged falls. Towards the Peak District and the South Pennines, maybe something a bit drier and brighter occasionally, depends exactly where that front lies. And further north into Scotland, again, maybe avoiding the worst of the heavier rain, but still some drizzly showers coming into the West Highlands, the best of any brighter spells toward the north and east of the Highlands. Now, a deep area of low pressure then sort of forms within that general southwesterly flow as we go through the middle of the week. Difficulty with exact detail and timing, but fair to say it looks a rather unsettled story with the threat of gales in places and rainfall that could be rather persistent and heavy at times, followed by clusters of showers that become organised into some steadier rain once again. So it looks all a rather unsettled picture through the middle of this week. Once that low moves away eastwards, that's where we start to drag in that chillier air from the north and the northwest once again. It looks like staying fairly unsettled with showers, maybe rather than longer spells of rain, but in places those showers could become frequent. Pressure tending to build again briefly from the west, and it may well be that we get a fine, crisp day at some point around Friday, perhaps Saturday if we're lucky, before the next weather systems over the Atlantic start to move back in again. And with that will come milder temperatures once more and the threat of some further rain and showers. It looks as though this changeable Atlantic regime continues beyond next weekend into the last week of October. We can deduce that general story from a chart like this for the final week of the month, which shows the average pressure conditions for the week as a whole, and we've got low pressure dominant across and just to the north of Britain. Higher pressure is away to the south over France and Spain. It's a general west by southwesterly airflow that prevails, and temperatures will vary as the air masses fluctuate between a more tropical maritime southwesterly and a polar maritime northwesterly, so temperatures up and down. Expect wind and rain to be common in that final week of October. Maybe one or two brief bumps of high pressure in there that give something better, but overall expect a rather changeable autumnal pattern to prevail. You can stay up to date with your local details for the next 3 days ahead every day on our website. That is your planning outlook in association with Ellis Brigham. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.